Okay, we're going to be starting here in about 1 minute. I want to get a few things kind of taken care of. This webinar tonight will be live streamed on YouTube. So if you want to watch it again later, it'll be recorded. Or if anyone else that you know of might enjoy it, it'll be on our YouTube channel. This is a webinar, so your cameras will be off and your microphones will be muted. So that'll allow our speaker time to do the presentation, and you can still ask questions through the chat or through the Q&A function on the bottom of your screen at the end of the presentation. This is Spoken History, and it's a collaborative effort of the Northwood County Historical Society, the Marshfield Historic Preservation Association, the City of Marshfield Historic Preservation Committee, the Marshfield Area Genealogy Group, and the Everett Rail Marshfield Public Library. And tonight, our webinar is entitled Out and About Marshfield 150, and our speaker is Vicki Schnitzler, and she will be talking about the contest and other activities surrounding the celebration of Marshfield's 150th anniversary. Vicki is president of the local genealogy group here in Marshfield and knows everything pretty much about history and the surrounding area, and she's very involved in our community. We owe her lots of kudos for that. So without further ado, Vicki, if you want to go ahead and get started, we've got a few online and a few in the room, so go ahead and take it away.
Well, thank you, Natalie. Welcome, everybody. That was quite an introduction. I hope I can live up to what Natalie said about me. I just want to kind of start by welcoming everybody to 2022. It is a big year here in the city of Marshfield. It is our 150th anniversary. I have a few slides that I want to share with you, just with some of the things that are going to be happening. One of the places where you can kind of keep tabs on what's going on is here at the library. If you go to the city or to the library's website, and I've got it down at the bottom of the screen, there are going to be lots of activities planned throughout the year, not just a certain month, but through the entire year, every month. And there will be some announcements on the 150th anniversary page here at the website for the Marshfield Public Library. And we also have some other places too that we're going to be posting things. So I'm going to just share a couple of those places with you. First of all, if you go to the website for the Marshfield Public Library, and you'll come up with their main page. What you want to do across the toolbar, across the top, you want to click on where it says 150th. And when you click on that, there we go. The page will come up for Marshfield's 150th anniversary. There are lots of things on here. If you, there's a menu bar off on the right. There's some things there, but if you scroll down the page, you'll find lots of other things. One of the things that the library is working on is honoring heroes and leaders past and present. And what we are doing is asking people around Marshfield or people connected to Marshfield if they know of somebody who was kind of important to the community, one of the movers, the shakers, that kept things going around town. We want a story on them and we want to honor them. So go to the library's webpage. You can see that at the bottom right here, it says there's a Google form that you can click on. You can fill it out there. You can type your story up ahead of time if you want to, slide it in and submit it. We will be listing 150 people from the city of Marshfield that we feel are important to the city of Marshfield. So if you know of somebody, whether it was a neighbor, somebody downtown, a business person, whatever. If you think that they deserve being one of these 150 representing Marshfield, fill out one of the forms and send their name in. There's some other places that you'll be able to find information. They also have a Facebook page for the same thing, for the heroes and leaders past and present. You can follow online there. And what we've been doing actually on that page is listing some of the people that have already been awarded that honor. What we're trying to do is probably come up with 2 or 3 every week, and then the stories and the pictures will be posted. So that's another place that you can go to kind of keep tabs on what's going on. Another great Facebook page, if you haven't already been there, is the Marshfield and Northwood County History page. And I've got the website at the bottom of the page here for you. This page has, I want to say, kind of blown up in the last month or so. It's just phenomenal. There are people from all over the United States and different countries that are coming online, sharing pictures that we never knew existed. They're talking about family members. They're talking about different places. Here's an example of one of the posts that came in a little while ago, talking about this specific bar. It was called Jolly Corner. And getting comments from different people. You can see down off on the right-hand side, some of the inside pictures of different things going on. So it's really a unique page. There's been lots and lots of activity. If you're not on that page, you need to join it because there's a lot of really cool stuff going on. Okay, but why am I here tonight? I want to share a little bit about why we did our trivia contest called Out and About Marshfield 150. This is an example, and actually this is the first listing that was in the Hub City Times back in the first week in January. It told about what our contest was going to be about, and then we actually pulled one of the pictures from back in 1977, where we got the idea from. Back in 1977, 78. And let's see here, right there it is. From June 17th, 1977 to May 26, 1978, there was a series of pictures and clues that ran in the Marshfield News Herald. What I want to do tonight is go through some of those pictures because I'm here representing the City of Marshfield Historic Preservation Commission. And one of the things that our purpose is to educate the public on history, for whether it be current history, lost history. And some of these things that I'm going to be sharing tonight are lost history because they're gone. And I'm going to start out there we go. This was one of the clippings that ran in that original column back in 1977. Anybody know what that is? I've got 2 heads that are shaking no here in front of me. Nope. Somebody said they thought maybe it was an apartment complex. It is not. What it is a warehouse or a series of warehouses that ran along in the 400 block on East Depot Street. And to the best of my ability, and I'm not saying that this is totally correct, but based on GPS and different things that I could come up with clues, this is the area that we are now looking at. kind of where that empty spot is in there. Give or take a few feet, which side, whatever, but that kind of gives you an idea of the importance of going back through some of these, because it is history that is gone. Okay, here's another one that's coming up here. Anybody have an idea where that is? These first ones that I'm showing you are all gone. They are not around Marshfield anymore. My panel is stumped here. So I'm going to help them out. How many of you folks remember the Marshfield cold storage building? That was on, yep, that was on that building. 15 North Central. Okay. Another one coming up. Anybody know what this is?
Is this over?
Okay, somebody's saying something over by Peach.
Yeah, right where they put the bypass through.
Okay, where they put the bypass through.
They put the bypass through, there was a big yellow.
Okay, this is actually the building at 103 South Maple. It was at that time back in 1977, it was the home to Merkel Electric Company. And any idea what's there today? We are at 103 South Maple. You're sitting in it. You're sitting in it. Well, those of us that are here anyway. Yeah. Things do change, don't they? Okay. Let's do another one. This one, I love some of the clues that they gave. It says, you may think this building is somewhere in Europe because of the strong Flemish and Dutch lines that are at the roof. It was in Marshfield. Any ideas? (114) West 2nd Street. And what is there today? Oh, actually, I guess I didn't get it put in. 114 West 2nd Street is the Wenzel Plaza. Because you go on that one-way street from Hotel Charles up to the post office, and it would have been on the left-hand side. Okay, we've got another one. This was an Italianate, and if you can, I know the picture is kind of hard to see, but the roof line is incredible with detail. It has droplets coming down. It has all kinds of fancy eaves and coves and stuff in it. It is pretty fantastic. Any idea where it was? (101) North Central Avenue. And so today, what you will see at 101 North Central Avenue is Quick Trip. Some of those so cool features, the unique things that are lost. Here's another one that I looked at and I thought, okay, that could be almost anywhere, because there are a lot of these octagonal windows in houses and buildings and stuff. But when I read the clue, I looked at the clue and it says the shot of a window may not seem very special until you stop to consider the many buildings that have octagonal windows. Okay, well, we know that. This one happens to be in one of the few, it happens to be one of the few in Marshfield. Well, where do you think it was? Again, a place that no longer is around, that has seen a lot of stuff going on in the last little bit. It was a window that was in the School of Nursing by St. Joseph's Hospital, or Marshfield Medical Complex now. And you can see the little red arrow. There was a column. Oops, hold on. The chapel, I think, sat back farther. But okay, here's the picture of the School of Nursing. And you can see like the stairwell has that jut out there. Right next to it on each floor was that little octagonal window. Yeah. Kind of unique. Okay, here's another one. And again, I apologize. This is what was in the newspaper. It is a doorway. These doors used to be some of the busiest in the city, and now they rarely see a visitor. It was the former Chicago and Northwestern Transportation Company depot on South Central and 7th. And just to give you a little bit better picture of what it looked like, there's the depot. And the archway that's off on the side there is where that doorway was. What is there today? Hiller's Hardware. Yes, you are correct. Okay, another one. I find this really fun because you're looking at things that aren't around, and unless you've been in Marshfield for a while, some people may remember some of these things. Okay, where was this weather vane at? There's nothing that is unusual about a weather vane, but the location of this particular one may raise some eyebrows, including yours if you try to find it. Obviously, it is at the top of a building somewhere. Not on City Hall. It was on top of Emmanuel Lutheran, the old church. And for those of you that forgot what the old church looks like, here are both pictures. The old church was actually listed as 610 South Chestnut, and there it is. If you follow up that picture way up at the top, the picture that I could find at the moment I couldn't get the detail of the windmill up at the top, but it was up there. And then that church was demolished in 1990, and it was replaced with a new modern version, which now sits on the same spot. But it has a little bit different address, 604 South Chestnut. Yes, and the bells actually were in the original church, and then they put the tower outside. Any idea where this is? Very good. I had somebody here that said Marshfield Furniture, and that is right. That building is no longer around. We'll just, I'm not sure if it was used for drying wood or something, but it had airflow going through it. Those are all louvers on those windows. Yeah, they're all louvers, so they had airflow going through it. Yeah, I'm not sure what they would have had, but again, here, Modern of Marshfield is the site where that building once was. Okay, We got another one. Any ideas, folks? Any ideas? This one's a little surprising. Again, this one is at the former Marshfield Brewery. And we're not talking about the one down on 9th. This is up north of the hospital. Yep. And I've got a picture of what it looked like in its day. There she is. And what is on that site now? That is the daycare for the hospital. Yep. Okay, we got another one from downtown. We get some of these details. It could be almost anywhere. But one of the things they're talking about here is that because of the geometric and the shape of it, what they're thinking that it was something like a factory or okay, somebody said they thought it was behind the old Sears building. There's a bridal shop there now. Actually, oh, the Connor building. This was actually 117 North Central. It was KNS Radio.
Oh, yes.
There's KNS, just to give you that, yes, there was a building. And actually, when I started trying with the city GIS system and everything else, it's kind of between St. Vincent's and where Quick Trip is. So that kind of empty area is about where that would have sat at one point in time. Up until this point, we've been able to kind of figure out where things were. But I've got some slides coming up that I want to share with you that we're still not completely sure. So this is one of a roof line and the detail on it, trying to decide which of 3 downtown buildings that this sawtooth and ball woodworking were a part of. Someplace, they say downtown. Okay. The building's no longer there. So it is actually at, according to the newspaper, when they gave the answer the next week, it was at 411 North Central. Now, for those of you in Marshfield, what's at 411 North Central right now? State Farm. The unique thing about this, and there was another clue that ran shortly, actually, it ran right after this one. It listed this one as 411. This was the next clue the next day, or in the next paper. You think it's maybe like a barn door or something, but if you look real closely, there's that little rectangle kind of towards the left or right-hand side, about a third of the way down. And in there, it says 413. Those are obviously on the sides of that paneled wood. Those are windows. So the clue obviously was that 413. That one took us a little while to figure out, and we're still not completely sure, because when we go back, look at the doorway on the beverage store. That is what they claim was 413. Now, 411, if we jump back a few slides here, if I can do that quickly, maybe not. Come on, one more. Okay. There is no roof line facing Central Avenue. Remember this in there. I'm going to go back to the beverage store. There is a delay on here, by the way. I didn't realize that. Okay. You can see if you look at the side of the second story of the store, you can see that roof line, but you don't see the peak. I'm guessing that maybe it was either at the back side of the house, because this being built at the time that it was built against the house the way it was. I mean, it was built probably at the same time. So I don't know as if they would have put all of that gingerbread work up at that point if they were going to cover it with the second story. Right. And that's why I'm thinking maybe it was at the back of the store up at the top at the roof line. We don't know for sure, but by being able to go back and look at other sources and being able to look at some of the pictures, that's how we were able to kind of piece a few things together.
Right to the right, there's it's got like big store.
Okay.
We got this garage door that comes alongside of the building like this. And goes like this.
Shirley's here and she's telling a story about they were driving down a road in town and they found something kind of unique, but we'll keep going with our presentation here. If you can see closely, there's actually a nameplate on the top of this building. And the last name is Gustafson. If anybody knows what that is, it is located at 501 South Central Avenue. Now, that store has it's still there. I'll tell you that right now. It's there. In 2008, it looked like the picture on the left. And if you look at the very front, you can see the detailing with the brickwork. It's been painted over, but you can still see the details. Now, and this picture was taken in 2019, Google Maps is amazing for trying to piece things together and see progressions of what happens. But in 2019 and today, this is what that building now looks like. You would have no clue that that was the Gustafson building or those features are underneath that metal siding. This one, when I looked at it, this next one that's coming up, I said, oh, that's still there yet. I know it is. And my husband and I had a little discussion. He says, no, those have been gone for a long time. For those of you who aren't sure what they are not spaceships landing on brick. Those are lighted balls that were on the side of the Marshfield utility company. And they would have different colored of lights behind them. At Christmas time, they would have red and green lights, and sometimes they were blue and yellow. They would switch them out. They were kind of cool. And I thought, well, that building is still there. But when I went for a drive And I also pulled up Google Maps. Okay, there we have, up at the top, we have the Marshfield Utilities building. The white part that's over on the left-hand side, I did a blow up of it. And I don't know if you can see it, but you can see little white spots in the brickwork. They took them out and they cemented them over. So they were there. There is proof that the dots are still there. It's just that they are no longer around. This is the last picture that I'm going to show you from the old series. And then I'm going to touch on a few of the new ones. This was actually how the series started back in 1977. This sleepy looking figure is more than just another pretty face hanging around downtown. It's a triplet, one of 3 landmarks gazing from perches above windows on a downtown street. That was the clue. Look at the detail. It is amazing. We have driven all over downtown. We have looked up until our necks were stiff. We could not find it. We were doing some research and we happened to, my husband happened to come up with this picture. Anybody know where that is? This block is no longer there. It's gone. But before I show you, you see the dark building on the left-hand side, there's 3 windows with arches. And then the second set of 3 windows, I am going to pull up on the darker of those. There are the 3 cherubs. It's hard to see, but that's what they are. Okay, where is this now? Okay, this is back in 1977. This is what was there. That's the full block. Nope. You have a bank up on the north end of the block, which was taken down. That was the Central State Bank. And then you come all the way down to this end where Radio Shack was, and Siebert's had a restaurant on the corner. What is there now? Yeah. Yes, yes. So some really good examples of why it's important to kind of look back at some of those things that are no longer around. And, you know, a lot of things do change. Maybe sometimes we need to think about, do we need to tear every building down if it's empty? Maybe we can revitalize it. Maybe we can put a new business into it, do something. Yep. So I'm going to go into the current out and about now. This was actually the second one. And I can go through and give you the answers on these because the contests on these first ones are done. So this ran in the January 12th Hub City Times. Any ideas what it is? Okay, somebody said, well, maybe it was down at the fairgrounds, and then they changed their mind and said the band shell. And they are correct. It was listed as 201 West Arnold Street, and it is the Columbia Park band shell up in the ceiling inside of the band shell. And those clouds that you see there are actually sky and clouds that are painted in the ceiling. which is kind of cool.
That's-
Okay. The third clue that we ran is this little house. And the unique feature on it, it has an eyebrow dormer window. Everybody can see where what that little curved window there looks like an eyebrow. Any ideas where that is? It's right across the street from the Upper Mansion. Good job, Shirley. So it is actually 211 West 3rd Street. It's the Studio 211 hair salon now. I've got just a couple more because we're getting close to where we are in current time, and I'm not going to give you any of the answers for the ones that are active right now. What about this one? Obviously, it looks like some type of a date plate on a building. And somebody said maybe the Presbyterian church, some type of a church probably. You're close, not quite, but close.
Yeah, where do we know that?
This is actually 201 West Blodgett. And that would be St. John's Catholic Church. St. John the Baptist Catholic Church. Okay. We're getting close to the end. This is one more. I think I might have one after this one yet. This one is, it looks kind of like a chimney, but it's not. It's a pediment, kind of standing up at the edge of a building. And it has that feature made out of concrete that has a shield on it. And there's actually on this building, there's more than one. There's multiples of this same chimney type feature with that same shield on it. There's multiples. .201 South Oak. It is the Oak Avenue Community Center, otherwise known as the Old Armory. I think there's like 4, maybe 5 on each side, the back side and the front side. Yeah. Okay, one more. And this will be the last one. This is a design detail that looks like it is sort of a pillar, but is it? I am only one of at least 4, and I may look old, but I'm fairly new to Marshfield. It does look like the old library or the community center that's attached here by the library. This one is not downtown, I'll tell you that. But one of our commissioners had taken that picture. We're kind of working as a group, taking pictures of different things. And I thought that is gonna, it's gotta stump somebody. It is the one that's active right now. So I'm not gonna give you the answer. It is not downtown. I will give you that hint. It is not downtown. It is not the university. That was another suggestion here. It is not the university. So you've got a couple days. What I want you to do every week is get your buyer's guide out, or the Hub City Times, and go to the page that has all the really cool stuff for the 150th anniversary on it. And you will see there's going to be listings of then and now, again, comparing buildings. And I know that there were some comparisons of some of these different buildings that were up here already. But go to the one on Out and About Marshfield 150. We have a website or a Gmail address that you can go submit your answer at. If you want to, there's a box out here on the second floor by the information desk. You can fill out a form and put it in there. You have until Monday, the 14th by noon to get it in. And then each week we will be giving out prizes for one person out of all the people who have the right answers. I'll draw one person. Shirley's going to start driving around tonight looking for buildings. So take your flashlight with you, Shirley. So I guess one of the reasons for sharing some of these was, yes, we need to be mindful of buildings that are gone. And also the buildings that are here and what we can do to preserve them. And, I've got several different people that have been sending in answers every week. And I actually ran into one of them the other day. And I didn't say anything because I didn't want to, spook him or anything. But he said, I've been sending you answers every week. And I said, I know. And he said, I don't enter to win. I think it's a fun activity just to drive around and look for the things. And so, it is. And if you get lucky and we pull your name one week, you'll end up with a free ice cream cone and a sandwich at McDonald's and, an ice cream cone over at Weber's or maybe at Melody Gardens. At the end of the year, the first week in January of 2023, we will be doing a grand prize drawing out of everybody that had correct answers. And I can't tell you everything that's going to be in it because I don't know yet, but there's gift certificates for $50. There's dinners for $4. It's going to be a pretty nice grand prize. So get your name in as many times as you can. Have some fun and get out and about Marshfield, please. Any questions or any comments that I can try and answer?
And any of you online, feel free to put your questions in the Q&A function on the bottom of your screen or in the chat if you'd rather do it on that. And I can relay them to Vicki. While people are thinking of questions, Vicki, I had kind of a full circle moment. And I'm only 50%, maybe it might not be accurate because my memory has really faded over the last 25 years. But when I first started here at the library, someone had brought in a picture of, they thought it was a statue from a graveyard or something. And we never did, I don't think, figure out where it was. But now that I see your pictures, that really detailed picture of that, I don't know if it was a girl or a person.
A little cherub. Yes.
Yes, I think that was what was in their barn. Something similar to that, or because didn't you say that building was torn down?
It was. It's that entire block where BMO Harris Bank is now. That entire block was torn down.
Yeah, I don't know for sure if that's what it was, but that made me think of that. And this was my 25th year here, so it was a really long time ago that somebody brought something like that, and they couldn't figure out it, and it really did look like it might have belonged on some sort of headstone or something, but I think it was pretty substantial. So anyway, wish my memory was better.
And you think of that these were up at the top of the second story and they were still visible enough to see, so they were probably I would say a foot tall at least, if not even a little bit more.
Yeah.
So they were fairly good sized. So, okay. Keep thinking where that barn was, all right? Let me know.
I wish I could recall even what I had for dinner yesterday. I don't know. It's getting worse.
Any other questions or comments? I expect everybody that watched now to go get your buyer's guide. You still have time to figure out where that pillar is, but it's not a pillar, but it looks like a pillar. Figure out where that is, send in your answer, or come to the library, put it on a sheet of paper up on the second floor and put it in the box. And hopefully you'll be winning something. All right. And we will be doing this contest every week through 2022. So we have lots of chances left for those of you that haven't entered already. But the next talk, that will be in a month. Yep. Go onto the library's website of things that are coming up. This is the spoken history series, and then the one that was on last night was the family history talks.
The exact date for next month's spoken history is March 10th at 6:30 again. And then the family history one is the day before that, Wednesday, March 9th.
Thank you, Natalie.
Yep. And next month's
Yes.
spoken history will be on the history of Marshfield's railroads. And the presenter will be Keith Meacham.
Yep. Keith Meacham will be talking for the spoken history on railroads. Yep. Yep. All right.
We have one question here online. Nicole says, is there a place where you can find out about old buildings that have changed or are gone besides Facebook?
Yes, there are lots of resources. You can check at City Hall and find out the address. And then there you can search back through, depending on what you're looking for about a property. Off to my back over here, there are a whole bunch of tax rolls for the city of Marshfield and some of the surrounding townships. There's tons of information about who owned different properties. All you have to know is the address or the legal description of that property, and you can find the transition over time as far as who owned it. And there are some other tax roll things in there as far as personal property. So if a landowner also owned wagons or a watch or a piano thing, that schedule changed over time, but it still told you some interesting things that that person owned at that particular property. You can check with the library, come up here in the local history room of the Everett Rail Marshfield Public Library. You can also go to the Northwood County Historical Society and talk with the curator there. Her name is Kim. She will help you try and find things. And if you still have problems, give me a call or send me an email. Between me and my husband, we will figure something out and help you the best we can.
Also a good book here at the library, if you're just generally looking for old buildings and things, is the Marshfield Story, Volume 1 and Volume 2. It has a lot of pictures in there that people have put together. So,
and with that, then there's also the Marshfield Memories, which was a book that I believe Hub City Times had something to do with. And I'm going to put another plug in. They are going to be putting together Marshfield Memories 2 before the end of the year, and they're looking for volunteers to help. So if that's something that you would be interested in, give Chris Leonard a call down at Hub City Times, and I'm sure she'll put you to work. Thanks.
Are there any more questions?
No, thank you.
Thank you so much, Vicky. This was so informative, and I loved seeing the details on the old buildings. They don't make them like that anymore, do they?
They don't.
Yeah.
And if they do, we can't afford them.
True. That's true. They were truly artists.
They
Many
were.
of those buildings they're just beautiful. So thank you so much, everyone. We
Thank
had a
you.
lot of new people tonight, and we hope you come back again, either online or in our Felker room. So thank you again, Vicky, and everybody have a safe night.
Good night, everyone. Thanks for joining us.